Flight Service Manager. Today is...
Pull the mask down firmly, place it over your nose and mouth, adjust 路線嘅照明系統會自動亮起，請遵照機艙服務員嘅指示。
On Cathay shop online and we'll deliver your purchases directly to your home address. Wi-Fi access 服務透過國泰品備網點進行電子居管。今日嘅航
We will assist in arranging them to be placed in the baggage hold.
1 degree. We're all ready to go front. Just awaiting the last of the catering and cargo to come aboard.
Don't adjust your seat and ask our crew to help you. 請將電子用品
Hello everybody, I hope you've enjoyed the clips that I've shown earlier of my flights on Cathay Pacific business class from Sydney to Hong Kong, layover at Hong Kong airport and on to Kuala Lumpur. As you probably gathered from some of the comments I made in the video, in those clips earlier, this is the worst business class flight that I've ever taken. In particular, the sector from Sydney to Hong Kong. The service just wasn't great. Unfortunately, in our section, we had a lady who didn't seem like she wanted to be at work that day. And that's a shame because, you know, business class tickets are not cheap, and I hadn't flown business class internationally since 2020, and I had been very much looking forward to trying out Cathay Pacific. On top of the bad service, the food from Sydney was pretty bad as well. In fact, it was just outright bad. I couldn't cut or chew the lamb that I was served, and this was a pre-booked meal, so kind of should be no excuses, and it was out of Sydney. I usually pick the cuisine of the country I'm leaving from because that's where it's supplied from. And the other thing I noticed is that the stewards or stewardesses did not assist anyone with their bedding. And I think in the case of the elderly, they probably could have been more helpful in assisting them with the bedding. Cathay Pacific also does not provide pajamas in business class, so I would bring my own set if I ever flew them or an airline that doesn't provide pajamas. I was then at Hong Kong airport. I wish that I could have stayed a bit longer to explore Hong Kong, but it just wasn't possible with the timing of this trip. With my business class ticket, I had access to one of Cathay Pacific's lounges at Hong Kong airport. We had landed around 5, I think, and after all the transfer, etc., we had arrived at the escalators to the lounge, and the lounge was going to open at 5:30. It was a pretty comfortable lounge. Hot food service started at 6, and I quite enjoyed staying there for the time in between my flights. Hong Kong airport looks very interesting. I'd like to explore more next time. The flight from Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur was much better. The cabin had an older fit out, but the service more than made up for it. When I was trying to put my luggage overhead, the stewardess said, "What if we do it together?" Cathay Pacific has a rule that the stewards and stewardesses are not expected to help passengers with their luggage. I have seen this on another airline, also an Asian airline, and I kind of think it's because they prioritize their recruitment based on appearance. And in East Asia, the ideal body type is pretty slim. So I'm guessing with this slimness, there isn't a lot of strength, and potentially a staff member had been hurt trying to help a passenger with luggage. I don't agree with this sort of policy. People need help. Not everyone is tall enough to reach the overhead compartment, and if we're gonna take away the ability of staff to help, have some other option that passengers may be able to utilize. Particularly if we're on the premium end of traveling, I would expect this to occur. The food was much better from Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur. I chose nasi lemak for breakfast. I always regret, I don't know why I continue to do it, choosing food that's not from the cuisine of the location the plane is departing from. It was a reasonable attempt, but it wasn't perfect. I think altogether, it just didn't quite hit the mark of what a nasi lemak should be. Apart from that, it was pretty good. At least the food was edible and chewable. And service was so much better. I felt like this is more what... Do you want to be... Oh, she's great. This sector I thought was much better in terms of service and the food as well. And I love that they have so many beverage options. It was a shorter flight, but I felt it was more of what a business class flight should be in terms of service and the food and drink offerings. I did get an amenity kit on the Sydney to Hong Kong leg. I've had it for a while, since April, so I have used up the facial spray, but they did give eye mask, hand and body lotion, lip balm, and here is a toothbrush. There was a toothpaste in here, but I don't know, because I tend to like use up smaller things, or they might move into a different toiletry bag. That's my review of Cathay Pacific business class. Don't think I'll be traveling them again. I was really disappointed with the service on the Sydney to Hong Kong leg. It's just not worth paying that kind of money to receive this sort of substandard service. Cathay Pacific, I think you can do a lot better. You have had a really good reputation, but I won't be flying on your airline if I can avoid it. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing. I hope you found this content useful to you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!